I sure do love the taste of genocide. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Mogul Mail, the episode where we talk about all the latest news and stuff in the Twitch community, in the e-celebrity community, okay? Whoa, it's so interesting! But today, we're not talking about Twitch, okay? We're not talking about my best friends like Hassan Piker, okay? We're not going to be talking about my best friend, Atrioc. We're not going to be talking about my other best friend, Caseytron. We're not going to be talking about my other best friend, EDP445, okay? The GOAT. Frankly, the GOAT. I think it's hard to argue with the idea that he is the GOAT. Honestly, he is the GOAT, except for that one thing. No, today we're going to be talking about James Somerton. Now, I already made a video about this guy a while ago, but we're going to do a little recap. Now, H-Bomber Guy, one of the biggest bread tubers ever, someone who, you know, is probably one of the better of that crowd. He dropped a video titled Plagiarism and YouTube. It got 20 million views, and it talks about plagiarism on YouTube. He calls out a bunch of people like the internet historian, but the main person he really goes after in this video is someone named James Somerton. He was a bread tuber, sort of a queer film analyst, you would probably call him, and he calls him out for ripping a bunch of his videos off from Wikipedia, from articles, from other people's essays, and basically just being kind of a shithead with his videos and not doing his proper diligence in actually writing them. Now, to be honest with you, I avoided watching this video for quite a while, and that's because I feel like in my heart I'm ontologically opposed to the idea of H-Bomber Guy purely because of how he looks. But regardless of that, I watched the video and it was quite good. It was a pretty good video. There were, you know, things I didn't like here and there. I didn't like some of the internet historian stuff, but the section about James in particular was very hard to argue with, and I see why this video got so many views. I mean, it was well constructed. It's decently entertaining for what it is, and he really went after James Somerton. He really called him out here. And for an artist, there's nothing worse than being called a plagiarist. And well, it kind of tanked James Somerton's channel. He had a very hard time after this. He was called out repeatedly, and eventually he made a post saying that he had taken his own life. We can see here the Dexerto Twitter account posts concern remains for YouTuber James Somerton after he posted about ending his life on his private X account on March 5th. And a lot of people were worried about this guy, and a lot of criticism was being drawn to H-Bomber Guy saying you went too hard on him, you didn't need to do that. And then you also had the arguments from people who don't like BreadTube saying, well, people from BreadTube have been arguing about audience responsibility for so long, now they get it, you know, back in their face because this guy may or may not have died as a result of a video coming out. There was a lot of discussion around it, but as it turns out, this guy might be alive or is alive. Keep in mind, we never knew that he was dead. He just posted saying he was going to off himself and then left the internet, so nobody knew where he was. Everybody's wondering where this guy went. Well, we now have this thread from Lady Emily, who you guys may remember from the Chugga Conroy allegations, where she was sending him pictures of her feet, of her big stinky cloppers, and then after the fact exposed him for supposedly being a person or something, despite the fact she went along with it the entire time. Pretty cringe, but Lady Emily has posted a long thread here, and it's pretty interesting. By the way, since some people have figured it out on their own already, just gotta say that the same day James Somerton put up his post faking his death, he rebranded his alt account, then posted about TV shows and horny posted. Here we have he, him, business owner, Lego nerd, pro wrestling, Mark, gay-ish. Here we have him posting about how he loves Sex in the City. Here Lady Emily writes, the same day James posted his first YouTube apology, he started this alt account for himself, originally under the attempted rebrand name of the Gay Raconteur. What the fuck is a raconteur? What is that? A person who tells anecdotes in a skillful and amusing way. Well, I guess he is that. Since then, it was rebranded as an anal-themed account and a shark-themed account before assuming a fake identity of Will. Here we have the Achillean boy saying, ... how? Hashtag Barbie. In response to Barbie will not be nominated for Best Makeup and Hair at the Oscars. Did not make the shortlist. Of note is the time in between Apology 1 and Apology 2 where he, on his alt, began arguing in defense of himself, saying that what he did wasn't that bad and didn't hurt anybody because the stuff he plagiarized was like a decade old, and blaming the cult of H-Bomb. Here we have this person saying, I love how even H-Bomber Guy's own video goes into how plagiarism directly hurts the financial stability of the people who are stolen from, as it makes the audience believe the original source of those ideas was the plagiarist, but you've somehow managed to be this dense. And here we have this guy responding, in most cases he listed the authors in the opening credits of his videos, so that's a false argument. He cited them in a lot of cases, just not in the way the cult of H-Bomb would have preferred. Go get a hobby. This guy says, oh my god, wait, are you an unironic James Somerton defender in current year? Is that what I've stumbled into? No, he did shitty stuff, but hyperbolic arguments like yours make real arguments against plagiarism seem ridiculous. Whereas James Somerton literally built a career off of ruining the livelihoods of queer creators smaller than him. Now here he says, ruining the livelihoods? Most of the stuff he plagiarized was like a decade old. You're delusional. If you think the people who watch his videos would have sought out those articles on their own. Now here she writes, after another rebrand to the Achillean boy, because men can't help but use the same Greek mythology branding as Telos, he began going on TikTok, first using AI voices and emoji avatars before finally using his actual face and voice, which is how others discovered it was him. And here we have a video.
So as the tweet says, people have been pointing out that there is no heterosexual explanation for this image in the new X-Men series, and the straights have gotten their panties in a twist.
This is a crazy... The straights have gotten their panties in a twist. Yeah, I'm sure that's what was happening there.
Being like, why do you have to make everything gay? It's because nothing's gay. We don't even get Iceman in this new series. Like, just give us this little bit of headcanon, for God's sake.
So it seems like this guy really wants X-Men to be gay. Here he's posting his own face. We can see here the Achillean boy with some original posts of him.
So I've seen it going around a lot. The thing on TikTok of, would a woman rather be trapped in the woods with a bear or a man she doesn't know, and always picking the bear. And a lot of men being like really butthurt about that. I just want to say, to add to that equation, as a gay man.
I always love, this is like a comment trend on YouTube, you guys notice in comment sections, like the top comment of everything is like, as a Brazilian bisexual queer author, family of 5 below my belt, been working for 30 years in the oil refining industry, let me just say that I love Deftones, and you should too. Like that's like the kind of YouTube comment I've noticed. I hate this kind of qualifying statement, like, well, as someone who actually, like, as if you can't have an opinion on something if you're not gay or whatever.
Bear jokes aside, as a gay man, if somebody asked me, would you rather be trapped in the woods with a bear or a straight man you don't know, it's the same answer. I'm picking the bear, because I have obviously met tons and tons and tons of straight men in my life, and it's a crapshoot which one is going to be like, yeah, bro, that's fine, and which one is just going to watch you and decide that maybe you shouldn't be waking up tomorrow.
I don't really know what this guy's talking about. I guess he's met a lot of straight men who want him to die, but personally, I would rather be in the woods with a man rather than a murderous bear who's going to maul you to death. But you know what, to each their own. Here, Lady Emily writes, James saw people mourn... Shut up! Here... Stop talking! Stop! No!
Trapped in the woods with...
Okay, I'm refreshing the page. Oh my god, never speak to me ever again. Here, Emily writes, James saw people mourn his death and call those who ever criticized him murderers. He put out a manipulative statement to ensure that fact. Then Horny posted from his safe alt while people suffered anxiety and grief for a death he never actually committed nor was at risk for. And now he expects to come back to TikTok under a different name and try to continue the same hashtag gay content he did before any of this came to light. Never once answering for the harm he caused others by his actions and to try to profit from it all once again. Now, Dan Olson here, Foldable Human, says, so those are his ass cheeks and balls? Lady Emily says, reverse image search showed nothing, so unfortunately, I believe it is actually his ass cheek and balls. So apparently, after faking suicide, allegedly in Minecraft, this guy was posting his balls and his ass on a private Twitter account, talking about Sex in the City, Barbie, and all of this.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Keep in mind, he had just scared half of the BreadTube community half to death because they thought that their criticism of this guy and him getting shut down and getting his career destroyed had led to him taking his own life. So it seems like a pretty crazy situation, right? But now a lot of people are unfortunately eating crow because they said outright that James Somerton had died. This person, Citrus Lady, said, honestly, it's really funny that James Somerton tried to fake his death. Like, in a way, I'm kind of relieved because obviously I don't want him to die, but the fact that he tried to defend himself while he was dead using burner accounts is just wow. Here we have, did James Somerton die or not? Why is it taking so long to figure it out? This post was deleted by the author, and then this person, Julie, just says, are you James? Here, back in the day, we have Vito Comedy saying, last week, James Somerton posted an apology video telling viewers he felt on the verge of sewer slide. In a response video with over 150,000 views, Vosh attacked Somerton, accusing him of weaponizing the threat of self-harm for sympathy. Yesterday, Somerton took his own life. Hashtag RIP.
This content warning feels manipulative. It is. You would otherwise put it at the 28-minute mark. He did this in his last video, which he deleted. I only saw the first minute of it, and it was immediately him doing the YouTuber apology, like, I'm so sad, like, self-harm, I just came back from the hospital thing. Like, he's 100% weaponizing it. I expect nothing but dishonesty from him.
Now, keep in mind, I'm not a big Vosh fan. I don't want to defend Vosh, but this tweet from Vito Gesualdi seems pretty preemptive considering we don't know if James Somerton took his own life. You can say maybe he did, maybe he didn't. You can talk about it, but we never actually got confirmation conviction that he actually took his own life. And frankly, I think just because somebody may be mentally ill, suffering from some kind of illness, doesn't mean you can't criticize them on the internet. I think you can call them out as much as you want. And I don't think that, H-Bomber guy should be held responsible for whatever this guy does if he did anything, which it seems like now is extremely unlikely. And it seems like he was posting his ass and balls on Twitter instead.
But there was this like tweet or something that I saw, and they were literally, I'm not even shitting you, they were deifying H-Bomber guy. They were referring to him in like religious terms. It was insane. It's insane.
Now, this person posted a pretty popular tweet saying, people just finding out James Somerton faked his sewer slide when I already knew weeks before when he copyright striked my cupcake remix of his apology video. Hi, LEIG, whatever the f this is, does music. We received a copyright removal request for your video. Based on applicable law, we removed your video from YouTube. Video title, James Somerton's apology video, part 1, video URL. Removal request issued by James Somerton. This means your video can no longer be viewed on YouTube, and James apparently gave this person a strike, unless they're lying about this and this is a fake screenshot, unless all of this stuff was preemptively planned by some H-Bomber guy fan that decided to fake all of this. It seems to me very likely that James Somerton is alive, he never actually died, and he's apparently committing copyright claims from beyond the grave. And I just want to know what this guy's thinking was. Like, did he plan this all out from the beginning? Did he think that nobody would ever figure it out? I mean, he has like a public TikTok account where he's posting his own face. He's got this other account. He's got all of these people breathing down his neck. Did he not think that anyone would figure out that this is him? I mean, it just seems like such an inexplicable course of action, but obviously based on the prior plagiarism stuff that he apparently thought never will be found out, it seems like it seems like he's a pretty short-sighted guy. He's not very forward-thinking, and as a result, he thought he would get away with faking his own death. Here, this person posted, James, you need to explain yourself for the plagiarism. James Somerton.
I'm so excited about Welcome to my ass. Sorry. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, true. Very, 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 very true. Here we have this person posting the James Somerton situation at the moment. This is from May 10th, so before people knew he was still alive.
I missed, fortunately for you.
Very, very dark cartoon moment there. I didn't know they had that in kids' cartoons back in the day. Now, back when this was all going on, there was a lot of people genuinely concerned for this guy's mental health, despite what happened. They didn't want him to die, obviously, because you don't deserve to die just because you make YouTube videos or steal someone's content on YouTube. You don't deserve that. But it seems like any of that sympathy is now going out the window. Not that these people want him to be gone, but essentially, when you plagiarize someone's stuff and then you fake a suicide and then you do it to post your butt and balls on Twitter, people generally lose what little respect or sense of redemption you could have had. I'm always a proponent of the idea that anyone can come back from any controversy. Whatever you do, you can come back and make good content. And I think if James Somerton apologized for the plagiarism and just made good content that didn't plagiarize, he could have been fine. He could have made videos that people wanted to watch. It's not that hard, This is the same thing I said about this In Praise of Shadows guy who recently slandered basically Wendigoon and Brandon Buckingham, and he called out me, called out a bunch of people. I think regardless of how badly you up, you can come back on YouTube. You can come back if you make good videos people want to watch. I know that better than anyone else. But it doesn't seem like this guy has that mentality, and instead he just wants to run from what he did and deny it and defend himself on alternate Twitter accounts, apparently. This person said, I really wanted to post this when the James Somerton side note came out, but thought it would be in poor taste. I feel incredibly vindicated now. And here we have gets criticized once, dies. Now, this post is from March 11th, which is before all the details came out, but Nick DiOrio posted, in the most unexpected twist of all time, James Somerton may have survived. Kat Lowe, H-Bomber Guy's editor, confirms that James Somerton is alive and safe. I've heard that James is currently physically alive and safe. I do not know what his current mental state is or what the next steps are, but I don't believe I can disclose too much. I hope this information helps all the people who have had to relive their trauma recently, but obviously we're trying to respect his privacy. I don't know if he'll reemerge. I really hope he takes time away from the internet and seeks out offline support. I'm going to leave this post up for now so people can discover this on their own, but we will be removing future posts asking about or discussing James. Please refrain from making commentary about this decision or blame at this point. It seems to reignite an energy that we don't need right now. So even back then, people were speculating he was probably alive. We have this post from H-Bomber Guy's editor that seems to confirm that he was alive at the time. And now all this other stuff is just icing on the cake. It's a big, fun narrative we get to dissect. But of course, the conversation that was being had at the time was, from people like Ebony Maw, who I think made an interesting point, saying if James Somerton ended his life, I think blaming H-Bomber Guy for it is absurd. Even if his fans constantly harassing him contributed to his death. That said, for a decade now, I've heard from lefties that you are absolutely responsible for the actions of your audience. So, basically saying that, H-Bomb or his fans are reaping what they sow. I don't totally agree with that, but you know, there has been a lot of that conversation going on YouTube for quite a while about how you're totally responsible for your for your audience for what they may do, even if you don't agree with it. And so as a result, people are kind of pissed off, and understandably so. But it seems at this point, all of this is kind of falling apart because James was alive the entire time. Now, I am expecting some kind of follow-up from H-Bomber guy. Here he posted a picture of an iceberg with him highlighting that, you know, this is merely the tip of the iceberg. There's stuff below the surface we don't know, which seems to confirm maybe he'll be doing a video about this in the future, or he'll be making some kind of update, or maybe this is just completely vague bullshit he's posting. But, you know, I think there's probably some meaning to this. And a lot of people in the comments are speculating as to what's going on here. And if people are going to basically, you know, take apart the fact that James apparently was alive the entire time. Ultimately, time will tell what happens with the situation, but I'm kind of excited to see what happens. You know, I think that YouTube drama of all kinds is interesting. I think it's fascinating to see how people work, their psychology, especially with someone like James Somerton, who seemingly has ignored all personal responsibility for what he did and tried to run away from it, and then also allowed a bunch of people to believe that he was dead when he wasn't. So yeah, pretty crazy situation. Regardless, I'll see you all in tomorrow's video when I show you how many marbles I can take out of my ass. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all. Stay zesty.
Gotta stay gay. Gotta stay gay.
Genocide supporter alert.